People to ask when someone brought up Jack's name. We knew it might be a long shot for him to speak, but as a team we decided we'd give it the old college try. We had made some initial contact with Mike Kudnick, who's down here today, who got us in touch with Pat Cummins, who's also here today. Both from the Minnesota office. Pat was able to verify that he didn't have any conflicts. That was the first step, the first hurdle to getting Jack here. Next came an email from me directly to Jack. That email took the entire day to write, and I had at least 3 people look at it. Approaching the end of spring, we all started making plans to attend the Esri conference in San Diego, and I knew we needed a plan. Coordination was needed, and we all came together to set our plan into motion. We had all agreed to try and speak with Jack at the opening of the map gallery. If he were spotted, we would send a note to each other, and we would try to get his attention. Of course, our plan went south as soon as the plenary ended. We were standing on the first floor of the conference center waiting for things to clear out before we made our way to the map gallery. After thousands entered the hall, Chris Diller, Scott Daniels, and myself were some of the only ones left, and Jack walks out. Scott goes, "Tony, go." I tried my best to get in front of him and then turn back and kind of run into him. But an attendee at the user conference with his wife and child in a stroller stopped Jack and had Jack hold the baby while they took a picture. I couldn't interrupt the family photo. So after the baby picture, Jack took off towards the escalator, and I panicked, and I yelled, "Jack." He turned and said, "Tony." I was stunned. He said he remembered my email and said if he would love to come back to Madison. He told me to speak with his colleague to see if we could make it work. That was awesome. We had made contact, and I, Scott, and Chris were flying high. Before we could tell the group we had made contact, I get this picture. Martin had made contact as well. Jack asked if we had some kind of coordinated attack plan. All right, let me pause this for a second. Okay. Jack asked if we had some, okay. After several other people made contact with him throughout the week, we asked him to speak at our annual. We definitely had thought we had scared him off, but he showed up anyway. Jack, a landscape architect by training, founded the Environmental Systems Research Institute in 1969 with a vision that computer mapping and analysis could help us design a better future. Under Dangermond's leadership, the vision has continued to guide Esri in creating cutting-edge GIS and Geodesign technologies used in every industry worldwide. Dangermond fostered growth from Esri from a small research group to an organization recognized as the world leader in GIS software development. Esri employs more than 4,000 people worldwide. Many who shared his passion in the early days are still with the company and dedicated to the success of Esri. Jack is well known for his charitable contributions. In 2017, he and his wife made the largest private donation to the Nature Conservancy, allowing the purchase of and protection of over 24,000 acres of undeveloped California coastline. Jack is a visionary, a leader, and a philanthropist. He is the keynote of digital mapping industry, and his continued contributions have led to the geospatial revolution that we're all part of. Many of our careers trace back to Jack's ability to think spatially and solve problems and achieve efficiencies that were never thought possible. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome to the stage Jack. Please help me.
Great. Tony is persistent, isn't he? Persistent, so I was sure that he had a grand plan. Anyway, thank you guys very much for inviting me. I appreciate it. Lots of old friends. And good partners over the years also. I'm feeling oh my gosh. How are you? Nice to see you. Nice to be with you. So, what do I plan? I plan to share a little bit about your work, show some slides of people's work around the world that are doing categorically the same sorts of things that you're doing, then give you sort of a sense of where I think the field is going, a kind of vision of what's next. Would you like to know what's next? It's always interesting. And then go deep into some of the technology, the enabling technology that my colleagues and I are working on, and I think you'll be able to extrapolate where that will go for your own work and your own life. But I always get a little bit freaked out at the beginning of my talks, and one of the ways I overcome that, unless you in on a secret, is I always turn it around and say, why don't you all introduce yourself to one new person? Now I know not everybody knows each other in this room, so this is a way that makes me feel more relaxed, and it'll facilitate what Tony is trying to do, which is to build a community here. So could you all stand up, find somebody you don't know, and tell them who you are.
Great lady.
Thank you. Sit down. Thanks. So the purpose of your association, the purpose of this meeting, is clearly to meet old friends, to learn from each other, to pick up patterns of what's going on, to learn technology trends, but also just to build friendships, isn't it? Isn't that why you kind of come? I mean, this was one of the big things about ERISA over the years. My first professional association was just meeting with old people that you knew were doing the same kind of work that you were. So there you have it. Today, GIS and the work that you do is becoming increasingly important. It's becoming a kind of infrastructure for creating the future. It's a good title that you picked, Tony, for this conference, is looking to the future, building the foundation. And it's my sense that all of you are actively doing that. And it'll become clearer as I go on exactly what I mean. But you are participating in something that's beyond your own little work, building a kind of infrastructure for the future. And so in that sense, I think of you as special. And knowing where Wisconsin came from, starting the whole land information system revolution, I mean, you are particularly special. So when Tony asked me, I was wanted very much to come here and talk to you about this. Now, the evidence of this theory that GIS and geospatial work is so important is revealed in your work. You're working on virtually all the challenges that we are facing as a society, as a global society, as a nation, as a state, as a community. It basically is foundational to so much of what is in our minds and our hearts today. You are working on environmental issues, some of you globally, some of you regionally, some of you locally, collecting water samples in a stream, to looking at the Amazon's loss of forest cover. Look at this interesting set of examples of monarch butterfly modeling. Very cool ecological work. And others are looking at the whole world, like sea level rise and endangered species habitats, not just on land, but also in the water. In the natural resource field, forestry, agriculture, oil and gas, energy, passive, etc. And here in Wisconsin, examples in ag conservation and shoreline zoning and accessing FEMA's floodplain maps. Isn't it look at this cool little recreation map. Who made that? This is St. Clair. Did somebody in this room make this map? About scuba diving? It's cool. I love that map. It just puts a whole bunch of fun to it. At the heart of this association is land information. And from Sheboygan to the rest of the world, Singapore, it's going on. It's not just the land registration and the boundaries and the attributes about the boundaries, but it's also the leveraging of that information for automated appraisal, for assessments, for land use planning. It's a foundational component. As David once said, it's the foundation for integrated GIS. Don't you agree? It's one of the key ingredients. It's essential to have that ingredient in order to do land use planning. Planning is going on all over the world on GIS. Planning new cities, looking at communities and what's going on with housing. Here in the city of Madison, they're looking at tracking development work as a dashboard activity. Well, you get the picture. GIS is useful now in buildings. It's going into buildings, it's going in as a fabric to build smart buildings and smart cities, smart communities. The BIM integration and the work that's going on with LiDAR capture, integrating into GIS is just profound. We can now take new BIM models and put them into a 3D city and have a look, and have citizens have a look, and evaluate and discuss like they used to do just in public meetings. That's different. Transportation planning. These examples show not only in road transportation, in transit transportation, in sensing what's going on with public transportation, but also in virtually airports. All the big airports in the world now use GIS as a foundation for little cities, from Beijing to New York to Atlanta to LA to Las Vegas to Hawaii. They're running like little cities all on GIS work. And look at this neat map in Munich where they're looking at predicting where the roads should be maintained, predicting failure in roads in the little red areas. AI, machine learning, deep learning, it's analyzing things in whole new ways. In the detailed engineering and public works world, these examples show not only work management, but also asset management at different levels. Again, the city of Sheboygan, and their work in sewers, but look at the work in water resources, water management in pipes, inspections, huge contributions going on. Similarly, in utilities, electrical utilities, water and gas, telco. Interesting, isn't it? Almost every discipline, almost every kind of human activities. Looking at, this is the 2020 census coming up in a few weeks. You're all going to be asked to fill out a form or register online or somebody's going to come knocking at your door and they'll know about you. We're going to record it, which is a marvelous thing here in America. I mean, we have by far the best statistical organization in the world. Yet statistics are increasingly becoming available online. My colleagues and I have been working on the coronavirus along with Johns Hopkins University and the WHO. I spent half the night last night just trying to figure out the base maps, which are not able to be taken out of China, as some of you know, legally. So wiring up the incidents in real time every 10 minutes or so with the right base map so they can really get it in the box like they did with polio and like they did with Ebola. WHO is working hard on all of our behalf. And also point-in-time time counts for the homeless, more so in the West and here in this freezing weather. We have 43,000 people living on the streets in Los Angeles, for example, and hundreds of thousands up and down the West Coast. being able to census those, take a census of those and share it so that we can address those problems more effectively. This is all in the domain, your domain, GIS domain. Preparing for and responding to disasters, floods, fires, earthquakes, hurricanes. Just providing situation awareness, for example, up there in Green Bay for the football games. I don't know about this Green Bay. Story maps. All of these maps that I've been showing have a story. Every one of them we can spend half an hour discussing, and I'm just walking around on the hallway here. There's a bunch of stories out here, really cool stories. Story maps now are a new medium. National Geographic is embracing them, others are embracing them. Somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 new story maps are being told every day here in the United States, with billions of views. The coronavirus story map had 2.5 billion views since the weekend. Isn't that amazing? People are curious about what's going on. And GIS professionals are authoring these stories. They're learning how to be storytellers. They're not only tuning up their great cartographic skills, but also integrating it with all the other mediums. And here in Wisconsin, but also across the country and around the world, people are opening up their data. They're sharing their data more through portals, open data portals for their own organization. But the big vision, I've been told, I think 13 times since I landed here, what we should do is get all the counties and cities sharing their data in a common set of fabric layers, framework layers for the state. Have you heard the message? Tell them that, they said, Jack. I came to Wisconsin, all of where it all started, to tell you that. You guys already know. Portals and open data portals are amazing, and they're getting citizens involved in collecting data through citizen crowdsourced information. Christmas bird count by the Audubon Society this year. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. We're in a revolution of GIS applications, connecting and interconnecting our organizations. So I'll just say, in this conclusion of the first part of the talk, I see your work, and people see your work, and it's amazing. And where I sit, going from country to country, looking at users and all the things they're doing, it's literally digitally transforming organizations. It's driving efficiency. It's helping people make decisions. Your work is inspirational to me. I mean, I have the best job in the world, really. I just get to watch what you're doing. And there's few things that you see in the news which is positive like this. Is there? There's few things that reflect the kind of commitment and work that you guys are doing. There's few institutions that do it. There's few individuals that stand out. The issues of technology creating a negative future, or the issues of politics creating a negative future, or the issues of global economics creating a negative future, or the issues of, it doesn't look so good. But your work looks quite good. In fact, it's a positive force for the future, and this is why I particularly want to acknowledge you. I mean, you are special people in this room. You're not just a normal worker. You're not even a normal public servant worker or private sector worker. You have very interesting talents and a unique way of thinking. And the discipline that you chose is proven to, I think, have a lot to offer for what's next. And so what is next, actually? It's useful now and then to pause and think about what's next. And to think about what's next for you personally. What's next for you personally? And what's next for your family? And what's next for your organization that you belong to. How's that going to work out? And then what's next for your community? This community, what's next for this community? What's next for your government? And then what's next for the world? These are all interesting things. Every time I'm looking at the news, reading the news, watching. So what's going on in the back of my head? What does this mean? What does this mean for our next? And all of those different levels. Doesn't that occur to you? And it's just in the back of my head all the time. I'm thinking about it. And I think I'm not different than you. So, look, let's start with this. Today, you and I are challenged. Our world is challenged. The human footprint that is out of control in some respects is creating a lot of challenges: overpopulation, climate change, the sort of alienation that certain forms of technology is bringing in our life, the kind of loss of biodiversity that I mentioned, and natural disasters that are the cause of things like climate change. It's a dreary world. It's certainly not a sustainable world, not from where I'm sitting. I mean, when I was born, we had about a third of the population. If we go back to the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, we had 1/10 of the population that we have today, just about 200 years ago now, when the steam engine was invented. And that started a kind of cycle of technology and human change, technology co-evolving. We are co-evolving with technical changes. And that has made us really successful as a species. And human health has gotten better. Our ability to have access to knowledge has hugely increased. There are so many things in medicine that really make our lives better with technology. But at the same time, we have to ask ourselves the question, we're sort of overpopulated. Our success has resulted in overpopulation and the human footprint on the planet, this little home that we live in, not so good. In fact, it's not sustainable. Just simple. So what can we do about it? Well, I suppose you guys are into it yourself. This is Wisconsin, for God's sakes. It's something that's ingrained in all of you, being conservative and looking about the environment. These are not unnatural traits here, especially. Yet, is that going to do it for us? Living our lives a little bit more conservatively, is that going to do it for us? Is that going to add up to the kind of change that's necessary in the next few years through the journey around? What do you think, Jerry?
It's going to be a good change.
It's going to be hard. People have said that it's going to take every single bit of our science, every single bit of our design thinking, every single bit of our engineering talent, our creative energies, everything. We have to be all in if we're going to turn this around. Or otherwise it isn't going to work out. Not the way it's going on. You guys agree? So what does the geospatial professional have to offer that? At the broadest sense, my sense is the world needs a kind of nervous system. Each of you have a nervous system, and you're experiencing things, and then you react. You think about it, you react. And this is quite natural being a human being. So I'm not talking about some abstract thing. Your central nervous system senses things, you cogitate about it, and you then respond in your own life, your personal life, in your business life. This is how we operate as human beings. But at the context level, clearly we're not operating this way in collaboration, trying to turn it around. So what must happen is the emergence of a kind of sensing system that also is smart enough that allows us to collaborate and understand each other and understand science and interpret it and support action. Okay, it's a theory, but it's what I think. and it's where you fit in. It starts with geography, the science of our world. It provides us not only rich content of every ecology, but also a kind of context and a common reference system that people understand. It helps us see things. It helps us understand complexity. It helps us understand relationships and patterns and processes. This is the fundamentals of this science. It brings us together. We can talk in a common language. It helps us understand and intelligently respond. So, some years ago, some decades ago, GIS was invented as a technology, and its concept was to abstract digitally geography and also integrate the knowledge, right? Integrate all theologies, integrate biology, and sociology, and climatology, engineering, all of it. That was one of its. That's why I think of geography as the mother of all science. It really is an integration, powerful integration tool. And GIS in its digital form has shown up in multiple patterns. Some of you do projects with GIS. You locate a new city, or you do an environmental study, or you study the health, or you study that's Project GIS. There's millions of people that do that. And others organize data into systems, and now a third pattern is emerging really rapidly. And it speaks to this issue of, can we get everybody in Wisconsin to share and collaborate? A kind of system of systems enabled by the web and services kinds of architectures. And this GIS is not simply an abstraction or integration tool, it also provides us a framework for collaboration, a framework for organizing and processing different parts of our respective organizations. Some of you are really into measurement, whether it's LiDAR measurement or survey measurement or imagery measurement or remote sensing. And others are interested in making maps. Linking these together is pretty cool. And we can now do this with web services and do analytics and do geodesign and planning and do decision making and then do action. So it's a nice little set of workflow steps. At the center is this emerging pattern of geospatial infrastructure. Like an electrical network, it charges and is supported related to each of these different tasks. And in that sense, it's like a nervous system. You sense, you understand, and you're able to respond more intelligently. A kind of foundation for this geospatial nervous system. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking in abstract here, I'm talking about you, where you fit on this set of workflows. It could be all of it or some pieces of it, but you're connected to this, certainly as I'm standing here. And in that sense, as this continues to evolve, your work is also going to increasingly be contributing through your systems or your little projects, through sharing, through open data sharing, through this infrastructure we'll be building. It's not a matter of let's all get together and build the SDI. No, it's already happening. I see it in organizations everywhere, from the UN down to my little community. Different departments are sharing their data, integrating their data through services, and allowing mashups. This is creating this nervous system. This is not a new idea. People have been talking about the idea for decades, but what I'm saying is it's actually happening now, and it's happening so fast I can hardly believe it. So this infrastructure concept is what I like to call GIS at scale. It takes distributed services linked or integrated together through portals, interconnected so people can search and discover and mash up each other's data. And that supports the individual project, but also teams and departments and then whole communities, meaning communities both like city communities, but communities like your own. With this concept of sharing and collaboration. Sharing and collaboration is not a new thing for our community is something that we're rooted in. You know, you need to share. In order to do GIS, you need to get everybody's data together. That means, by nature, you have to have open data policies and open sharing. I'm simply saying, at this stage, what I'm saying is people are servering their data, not just making it open. They're in service to others that would use that information. And that's the magic of what's occurring. What does that mean for the professional? It means I can be sitting at my workstation, connect to the web, and access distributed remote sensing services, or do some AI and machine learning on a different machine halfway around the world. I can do tracking. I can do all of it. In other words, the world is at my fingertips. I'm connected. And I can integrate it using location. And this isn't just normal data, it's all kinds of data. I can read in hundreds of different imagery formats. I can read in multidimensional data. I can read in real-time data. I can read in BIM data. I can read in CAD data. I can bring it all dynamically together through abstraction, much like SharePoint. I sat in a session this morning, SharePoint views. SharePoint, Microsoft developed this concept of views that I can do joins, dynamic joins, and relates. Same thing here. I can bring data together as maps and scenes and layers, and then mash it up and integrate it dynamically. I don't have to put it all in some stupid DBMS in order to leverage the information. We do it as dial tones. So, for example, let me just sort of show you here. Last night's Landsat imagery, about 400 new images every night. I can pan and zoom across it. I can change the spectral characteristics of these scenes, so I see it in just normal color. I can overlay on top of it MODIS data, heat data where the fires are right now. I can zoom on into a fire in California and see the smoke with MODIS red dots where there's other incineration going on. I can spectrally get rid of the smoke. I can look at the fire's extents by using just simple image processing tools. I can capture the fire's extent, and just like that, and pull off the image and stick it onto my digital terrain map, like that, and see it in 3D. Switch it around. Wow. Aren't you impressed? My point is that you can literally change things now that we couldn't do before. You can integrate things that we couldn't do before. And not only integrate this real-time information from many sources, I can also see it in field apps. I can see it on dashboards. The same work that many of you are doing. I can do data science with this real-time network of information. I can do analytics work. I can still do GIS projects. You get the idea. That's exciting. And kind of an hourglass that hold it all in, abstract it, geospatially reference it, and then use it in any kind of app. That's powerful. That's what I'm talking about in terms of this web GIS. And what's ongoing right now is the ability to access that through frictionless apps, web apps, or in devices. Some of you are already going crazy with mobile applications. That's just beginning. Imagine GIS-enabled apps in virtually every phone. Think of the megaphone that you will have as that emerges. In a couple of minutes, I'll show you exactly how that will happen. Also, we're starting to see maps embedded in other enterprise systems, like Salesforce now embeds Esri maps inside of it. And SAP starting to do the same thing. With engineering world, the whole Autodesk world of engineers doing their various apps are geospatially now enabled so I can call upon the infrastructure in order to do my engineering better. That was just a dream a couple of years ago. And work management, I want to geospatially enable my workforce with maps. And this is also opening up for communities, like with tools such as Hub, where leaders can organize around subjects like initiatives and then connect with citizens so that GIS expands into communities and gets them to volunteer and work and participate in initiatives in whole new ways. So, ladies and gentlemen, this infrastructure idea, this new pattern of GIS, is really just beginning, but on the other hand, it's going to transform your organization, but it's going to also transform the ability for different organizations to collaborate and create a better understanding. I just said make it more responsive. This means taking every agency, city, county, statewide agency in Wisconsin, and federating it into portals for searching and finding each other's data, and then mashing it up in any app, and then serving it out open. This is not Jack's PowerPoint slides. This is happening in major capitals around the world. It's happening in Abu Dhabi, it's happening in Singapore, it's happening in Philadelphia, it's happening in little towns down in South Carolina. It's happening in the UN. They're bringing it together to report things like the SDGs at a global scale. And the response will be, and this is just starting, the response will be more responsive organizations that operate at the speed of light. When something changes, it's connected. It uses location as the common key to do the integration. And that will mean, well, who's going to build these systems? Actually, some of you are actually already doing it. It's going to be people that actually know geospatial world and know how to craft these systems. So I would assert it's just beginning. The revolution, if you want to call it that, is just beginning. And it will be a nervous system first within organizations, bringing departments together, and then interconnecting the different organizations to digitally transform. A lot of jargon about we're transforming our organization. Yeah, okay, with accounting systems or something? Come on. I'm talking about really transformation in terms of changing behavior. And that work means you, essentially as professionals. It's essential that you take on the job of not only learning how these pieces fit together, not hard to do, but also showing leadership and engaging with each other, engaging communities, engaging your citizen community, but engaging peer-to-peer, G to G, G to C, G to B, all of that kind of stuff. And that's happening. It's happening, for example, with the Census Bureau, reaching out down to every single not voter, but census, and well, what do you call them? You, okay, the citizen. It also requires some sense of why this organization is what it is, a sense of passion, a sense of wanting to get together, a sense of collaboration, working together. That's an important part. Okay, that's the second part of what I wanted to talk about. Do you have any questions about that part? Good. So that's what's going to happen next. It's happening right now. I don't like to forecast willy-nilly things, because it's very much, the evidence for me is I know this is going to happen in a very, very big way. So I'll conclude with just a few words about Esri's work. Our work is really about building tools that enable you to do your work better. That's how we're wired. And we focus our work on this technology called ArcGIS. But lately we've been building a couple of geo-enabled systems, which are not GIS, they're independent systems, but they're enabled with geographic data. And we're doing this as a pattern for our partners and for others to follow. The idea of using the concepts of GIS to build focused workflow systems in planning and building management and so on. So very quickly, GIS keeps advancing, ArcGIS keeps advancing. These are some of the big trends in the last couple of years we've been accelerating on, bringing in LiDAR at scale, for example, working with faster machines, cloud machines, distributed networks, bringing distributed sets of machines together, using microservices and so-called cloud-native software. And then in the science areas, bringing in open science libraries to integrate with our basic tools, using spatial temporal analytic tools to improve what heretofore has been just spatial or just temporal. But there's actually dozens of these things. ArcGIS is the vessel, the container within which we do our work, and it's transformed into a services-based platform. So many of you asked the question, why should I move from ArcMap to ArcPro? Or ArcGIS Pro? Because fundamentally it's not any longer client-server relationships, it's services is the language that connects servers to these clients, as well as more modern architecture, but it's services-based, that's a common theme. And then it works with distributed systems, and it's open and it's extendable. These are some of the basic concepts. It also responds to three kinds of things. It responds to being able to manage systems of record. These are transaction systems like in land records, maintaining the update, it's the authoritative source. It's also a kind of system of analysis or insights. And finally, it's forward-leaning in the sense that it's a system of engaging between agencies with the citizens using data and maps and apps to connect. You follow this slide? It's an important slide because many of us have this focus that GIS is this. No, it's actually three systems in one. And it's useful in that sense. Saying spatial analysis is not the same as a system of record. Different sorts of tools. And portals, something I mentioned a couple of times, are one of the newest web components of GIS. It really organizes all types of geographic knowledge, data in a catalog, services in a catalog, the people with identities, so I can know who has what, who has privileges for what. And it does that in a kind of intuitive way, so I can search and find out the knowledge for my particular application. Now, the capabilities behind that system keep evolving. We have about 1,500 engineers who keep each year coming out with different iterations of the tools, and I'll go through very quickly what they've been up to. First, they keep adding to this large collection of the Living Atlas, which has now it has 8,000 services data sets, but 29 million maps and data sets have been shared. This atlas is inside of ArcGIS Online. It's available to all of you freely as services for building and crafting and augmenting your own data applications. In the mapping area, a lot of our thrust has been towards smart mapping. This is using rules-based system and machine learning to build great maps so that mere mortals can build a great map. It's not that we're saying great cartographers are not necessary, they are, but how can we replicate with a machine so that we can drag and drop data and it calibrates it in such a way that it looks good right away. If you look at the upper right-hand corner, I'd like to introduce a new idea to you, which is, it says exploratory mapping. So most of you think of a web map as a web map, it's a static map. But what we're discovering with the huge performance increases we've been made in the last year is that you can actually interact with very large amounts of data in a web browser and changing the legends and the thresholds of the legends. You can actually use the map as an app. It's an exploration app. This is something I want to think a little bit about because it's different than just, oh, I produce a great map. And no, I'm creating great services for other people to explore my data. Different dimension of mapping. Story maps are this new dimension. As I said before, over 1 million maps were made last year, and a new generation of tools to do that that'll soon be available to consumers is pushing the envelope of geographic storytelling up and down the ladder. The highest levels of our national government look at story maps every morning on all kinds of issues. And governors like it. And mayors like it. Story maps are turning into kind of a new PowerPoint. So instead of authoring your data and putting it into a PowerPoint, you author a story map, and it is the presentation, it's the dissemination platform as well as the authoring platform. So good way to look at it. Lots of progress in 3D visualization, trying to keep up with the massive amounts of new LiDAR streams that are coming online. Some interesting work for especially some of you here in the audience in the world of editing and data management. So improved editing tools, but also stronger services-based industry models like the parcel fabric in services form. And then, well, I'm glad sort of better integration of Autodesk's engineering tools, offline workflows so I can tear off my data, take it into the field and work. And speaking about that, probably the biggest trend in our field today is field GIS, both collecting data, things like quick capture, I can be flying around the helicopter and capturing data, and it's doing transactions right into the database at the same time other people are using it for analytics. This is going on with coronavirus right now. People are observing, hitting, locating, and at the same time in Geneva they're looking at the patterns and trying to get the epidemic in a quarantine box. So linking field people, managing field people, tracking field people, and then making sense out of all of that data is a big part of what's going on today. I mentioned visualization already, sorry. And then in analytics. Simple analytic tools like insights are about spatial data exploration, not static analytics that I can interact, like I was talking about a moment ago, with the maps and see insights as a function of my interaction. And here, for those of you interested in social science, the integration of graph databases about people and place is a rich gold mine for the social scientists, but also the criminologist who's in police departments trying to catch bad guys. In the heavier areas of spatial analysis, new tools, I mentioned before, spatial temporal modeling is big, and just improved processing. In the last year, we were able to parallelize both in the desktop but also in servers, large data, big data, very big data, and accomplish great results. Anybody know what Jupyter notebooks are? It's the test. Okay, 7%. Jupyter notebooks are a technology. They're basically like a scripting capability. You can script and build and build. You can script and build procedures for automating things, modeling, big data, doing AI and machine learning. And this has now been added to ArcGIS Pro. So I have a scripting language that is in Jupyter, which is an open language, an open source language, which can integrate with other open source analytic tools. I can also do it in my server, and this summer it's going to be in ArcGIS Online. So think of a scripting language to help you speed things up or do bigger analytics. This opens the door to what's occurring in AI and machine learning and deep learning. Now look, Esri has considerable resources, but the resources that are being developed in open source AI and machine learning libraries is enormous. AI and machine learning is going to affect all of us in health and the way business is done, the way government is done. It's going like this. So we are using notebooks as a way to connect GIS users to that vast library of AI and machine learning. You get it? So you're not going to be learning just the AI and machine learning. No. You're going to be in your GIS, but leveraging the ability to use cloud-based, big data-based computing and AI. That means feature extraction. It means looking at patterns, being able to predict things more effectively. In the imagery world, how many of you are interested in imagery? 63%. It's pretty good. ArcGIS is now a complete imagery management system. It allows you to manage all types of imagery and sort it up into analytics, visualization, and map production. Recently, we've added the ability to do drone flights, including all of the layout of the flight plan, and taking the results of the flights, collect and put it directly into the cloud for processing of orthophotos and use in, of course, other applications. Getting tired of me talking about these tools? Is this okay? I'm going deep with what our work is. Another dimension, like imagery, is real-time data. This means taking IoT, or sensing all the temperature in every room, or where all the vehicles are, or where all the people are, or what the status of things are. Read it directly in, do in-stream processing of these massive feeds of real-time data, and then do deep analytics on a plugin right into the back of GIS. So in other words, the old maps, no, they're still there, but I can mix it with real-time maps that can be overlaid and analyzed and worked on in real time. Now, the little news sign here is something we just released last week. So people often with real-time data don't want to buy all the computers and buy all the software that's necessary to stand up real-time IoT feeds, particularly at scale. Think of all the cars in Madison moving around every second. You don't really know where every car is. Okay, that's not a practical application. What's a practical application? Where all your people are, or the temperature of. So, a new technology has been released, which is going into ArcGIS Online, which allows you to just connect the real-time feeds, whatever they are, birds, animals, vehicles, temperatures, and it feeds it right into the GIS as a cloud service rather than standing up your own infrastructure. So we think that that's going to revolutionize the integration of real-time into GIS. Well, how does this show up inside of ArcGIS? It shows up in the desktops and the servers, in online. That's how it shows up. All those capabilities I've been describing, each year we release them into ArcGIS Online, which is getting faster and better, more performant. These are just some of the things that we did in the last year. What's coming in ArcGIS Online this summer is the ability to store massive imagery clouds inside of ArcGIS Online so that you can process it and integrate it into the rest of your GIS easily. Pro, how many people are working with Arc now? Okay, you're so yesterday. Finally, ArcGIS Pro has achieved pretty much replication of everything that Nav did, and there's reasons why people did not move to Pro. I would really like to encourage you to do it. You have it because you have ArcMap. Comes in the same box, right? But there are so many reasons why to take this move. I would encourage you to look at it. It takes about a week to do your migration and learning. So there's some cool things you can do with it. ArcGIS Enterprise is the server part of our technology. It's a comprehensive server-based system, and it keeps getting better. Towards the end of this year, we will release a version that works on Kubernetes. That's cloud native for those of you who are technology geeks. Kubernetes are a new kind of operating system that Enterprise will run on that allows microservices to be deployed. That means you can take the processing and spread it out infinitely, like at scale, on different machines. Some of you don't care, but I care a lot. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Just remember, Kubernetes is a great deal. Part of Enterprise is Portal. And I've told you what Portal is. Portal enables this infrastructure I've been talking about. If you guys each stood up a portal, these portals over the web can talk to each other. They can share metadata. They can share maps. They can share different kinds of technology. I'm really okay. I'm on the look okay. Should I so, look at this diagram. It says that the metadata in one portal could be automatically sent to another portal for another community, or some metadata. The data in one server can be pulled out and update a server in a different location. So think of a national map with distributed implementations. So data can be updated in one server, and the data can be sent over to the other servers. Isn't this interesting? I mean, what I guess I want you to know is that now we can actually realize distributed GIS and distributed infrastructure exactly along the lines I was talking about. So it does take a little bit of study and architecture to figure this out, but at the conceptual level, now is the time to start thinking about this idea of a statewide, or even Wisconsin as part of the rest of the union. That's not a joke. That's a joke for you guys. But in terms of geospatial infrastructure. On top of those core products, Esri has about 100 people that work on what's called solution templates. These are real programmers who build solutions in different fields, in local government, in utilities, in public safety, emergency management. These are software templates that are in GitHub. They're all free. They're supported just like our normal products, but they help you get going in a particular field right away. And in the world of land information, there's dozens of them. These are just a few of them that support the field data collection, the parcel data management. In other words, they're templates, and they're all built on standards kinds of work. You get this idea? I always get beat up in Redlands because they always say, you never talk about the solution stuff. It's probably the most valuable stuff to our users because it's free and it's supported just like normal stuff. So if you want to get going in a new field, you can just download out of GitHub these open source tools, and it'll get you into a new app or a new. And this also speaks to our partners who are implementers of many of these. These are available free for deployment and use anywhere. App builders are technologies that allow people to build their own apps quickly. And we've had a lot of success with the web app builder. This spring, we've released the Experience Builder, which is brand new. It's just out of beta, actually. It's like the web app builder, but it supports a JavaScript environment with 3D and heavy-duty analytics. I'd invite all of you to look at that as the next generation for building apps. The third one here is called App Studio. This is for people who wish to build native apps on things like iPhones or Android devices. And the amazing part about this technology is I can build it for an iPhone and it'll transform itself to run in an Android or Windows environment automatically. So you can put it into the various stores of the different device vendors. So you can build cloud, you can build device native technology with really no code. It's all template based or minimum code. And in the lower right, one last thing I want to share is that as part of that, there's a new app player. So, you know, when you have, how many of you have these? Totally visible. In these, this little app player is an app that allows applets or little apps to live inside of it. So, you know, it's hard to distribute apps to your customers inside of an organization because you have to go through the app store and take so much approval and all. So this allows you to build an app and deploy it to your own field people directly so they have their own little collection of apps. Some of you will find that extremely valuable. Okay, I mentioned early on that Esri works a lot on GIS. That's the core mission, or GIS specifically. But we've also been building a few geo-enabled systems, and they are for indoor buildings and for citizen engagement and for urban planning and for mission support during emergencies. I'll just cruise through these quickly. Hub is the technology that extends GIS Online for engaging people. Very, very popular this year. Getting volunteers in the community to work for the community for free, or activating around initiatives, different community spirits like cleaning up the graffiti or volunteering for open space or whatever it is. And then it's a technology that organizes the community by getting a named user identity to every one of the citizens. So that allows you to have their names. So you need them, you organize them, you can do what people have done for centuries in community organizations by doing it digitally. The second system is urban. This is for urban planning. Those of you who are, how many urban planners here? One? You see me after the break. A third one is for indoor space management and wayfinding. And there are others. I've overspoken, taken my time, Tony, I think.
Yeah, absolutely fine.
It's all right.
Yeah.
He keeps giving me these evil-eyed looks. I'll conclude by simply saying you guys know better than me that while Jack's talking about technology, it requires like 90% of the deal is not technology. It's having vision and leadership and involvement inside of your organization. It means having management support in the form of a strong champion. It means having a clear strategy. That means not just buying something and trying it out. It means thinking through what it really means and its value, its cost, and its value. And having realistic time frames so you don't sort of bullshit your way into something and then it gets into trouble and fails. It also means having good governance in these systems. It means setting it up right with your friends so it's not us versus them. It's participating, collaborating to make the system happen. And then it means good, it also means good people. People are exactly like yourself that are well-intended, that actually have a brain and can think through the concepts of GIS and all of its implications. I like this little quote by Chris Thompson. He said, "Collaboration moves at the speed of trust." It's a clear message from him. It was like, bam, he hit it right between the eyes with me. And having these kinds of meetings are really important because they help us establish trust. And there isn't any of this, what do you mean by that? What are you trying to get in here? No, you only get trust out of them through kind of being informal and getting to know each other and liking each other and working on them. This is the magic of making these systems possible. Look, I've been talking a lot about the technology part, and I believe that GIS is becoming pervasive. I know this actually. Millions of users. But that will become billions of users. as geospatial infrastructure becomes as pervasive as electricity. It's going to become a very powerful platform. And speaking to those issues that are challenging us, we need this. We need a science-based information system that can inform, can help people understand things better, can stand up to the challenges of going to the right or going to the left with steady, rational thinking, strong information. And this is going to change how we see things. It's going to change the dialogue. And it won't happen overnight, but it's going to reshape the way young people think and behave. It's going to make us smarter. If you look at from an evolutionary perspective, human beings are going to get smarter with this. And they're going to be more efficient, and they're going to be more effective. And as professionals, a personal word to you, your work is part of something much bigger. It will clearly influence and create our future. You're special in this regard, and you may think I'm biased. I'm not biased. About this subject, I know about which I speak. It's going to realize a sustainable future. And it's going to be more than just the technical part. It's going to require lots of intelligent action. It's going to require those things about governance and thinking and values and ethics and just a lot of hard work and going all in. You know about that. You've gone all in from time to time. But if we're going to have a hope of doing what's going to be necessary, we got to go all in. That's going to be real personal to you. Only you guys can do it. Not listening to some lecture about it. It's like thinking about what's next for you personally, and what's next for your organization, and what's next ultimately for the world. So Tony, thank you for inviting me, and thank all of you for not only being here, but also what you do. I appreciate it. Thanks.
I'd like to thank you so much for coming to speak with us. We have a bit of a role reversal for you. Normally, it's you who's handing out the awards. You saw from Tony's slides earlier the betting of those awards, but we have one for you this time. The Friend of Land Records is an award given to an individual or organization that's not a WLIA member and that has contributed to the success or advancement of land record modernization in Wisconsin. This year's winner is unique. Sure, he sells you software, but it's so much more than that. He enables us to do truly inspiring work. In Wisconsin, this recent work has included tracking the opioid epidemic in West Dallas, from flood response in Bayfield, and we finally just did it and started integrating foundational layers in statewide projects. He does more than, though all three of those deserve a record. For years, he has inspired us in practice, action, and vision, and to steal a word line from the marketing department, he enables you to see what others can't. Thank you very much.